Hello, welcome to March 25th, 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation. This is an exercise that I do each and every day, a little bit after waking up. It's now 5:28 a.m. here in Japan. I do this to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours since I did this yesterday at the same time, how I did with the challenges and the opportunities that I met. I look for sore spots in the day where I could have faltered, and I ask myself how I responded, or difficult spots of the day where the unexpected happened or some sort of a challenge arose. How did I handle that challenge? So I'm trying to basically look at what I did, evaluate it for both the positive and the negative. I usually give it a score, and then I move on. I'll go over the 8 objectives of my creed, and then I'll prepare for the next 24 hours. But before I do that, let me say welcome to new YouTube subscribers. I appreciate you're here. I need to let you know that this video is not a Japan video. This is a me video. This is my personal diary. You're welcome to stay and watch. I do this publicly every day around the same time. And anyone is welcome to watch and leave any comments, although I don't read or answer comments until I'm done. Please know that I do talk about sensitive subjects here, namely death, which unsettles some people. So just be forewarned that that's the case. And I do want to say thank you to my YouTube viewers, supporters, and the folks on Patreon for buying me my morning coffee this morning and the melon pan that I had while I was writing up the text that associated yesterday's upload of my Retiring in Japan series. Okay, well, enough about that. Let's get started. For the last 24 hours, I have 3 notes here. First, I have this note here that says, well, I'll read the notes and then we'll talk about it. Oh, Edith! It's the guy that runs it. He turns the lights on for me every time. I get here so early in the morning that the lights are always off. Arigato ne? I do it. And so whenever I come in and he sees me coming, he always turns the lights on for me. That's really nice of him. I'm kind of a regular here now. I know everybody, including the owner. The owner swung by just a while ago, and he brought me a gift. It's because he and I shared a life, even though I don't like baseball. It's not that I dislike it. I just have no interest in it. But I'm sure I'm a fan of Shohei Ohtani and the ambassadorship he has for representing Japan and my Dodger Blues. So the owner came by and gave me that this morning. Arigato ne? Okay, so there's 3 notes here that I want to talk about. One is super balance, and then in parentheses, second experience. The other one is ended a relationship well, which I did yesterday. And then the third one is contractor misunderstanding. So let's go over those 3. So first of all, super balance is a strange new experience that's happened twice now in my life. I know truly it's a new experience in life. I've never had this occur in my 60 years. Usually, the only time I've even come close has required very contrived, concerted effort. So here's what it is. It happened last week as well once, and it lasted for about an hour. And it happened yesterday again, and it lasted again for about an hour, where I was moving through the day and this deep settled sense of, the best word I can come up with is balance, kind of settled over me. Like I felt like I could, no matter what happened, if an earthquake struck, I could keep my balance. If my wife had some bad news to share with me, I could keep my balance. If I had a heart attack and started falling over, I could keep my balance even then. Not literally, but up here. And I can't describe it other than kind of this it's like arriving at a place. And I'm excited about this because it's happened twice now, and through no willful effort of my own, it just kind of came upon me. So we'll see where that leads. I'm hoping that I've been doing these exercises now for years. Hopefully they're building towards something, and balance is in fact my number 8 objective. So that was interesting. So I've given it a name, super balance. The second thing is that I note here is that I ended a relationship well. If you follow the story, you know that I've been invited by a I want to use the word wealthy, but when I say wealthy, it sounds like I'm showing off, like I know wealthy people. That's not the way I mean it. It just means that when I use the word wealthy, I'm signifying that he's clearly very successful and doesn't need the likes of me. I was invited to the home last weekend of a wealthy businessman, ostensibly on a social engagement. Turned out it was that he had ulterior motives to engage me, and namely my foreignness, my English speaking ability, to work with him on extending his business. Even though he's mostly retired, he's handed over the business to his sons. He has an eye to take his business overseas, and he's looking for someone. I guess he wanted me to help him with that, and I don't want to do that. I'm retired. No thanks. And so I wrestled with it a little bit, and I did agree to help him with one thing, and I finished that very quickly with AI help. So thank you, AI. And I had to craft a Dear John message to him yesterday. Basically, what I realize now is that I have a danger. If I start going down this track, I can go long-winded. I could spend an hour talking about this, but I'll try to nutshell it. When we retire, we wind up with this kind of unless we're really, really well planned out, I mean, maybe some people do, but we end up with this vacuum of free time. I've been retired now 3 months, and you have this vacuum of free time, and it's tough to fill it. And what's very strange, this is #retirement, a little nugget that I've learned, is that not only is it hard for us to fill that time, there are lots of people out there that are willing to help you fill the time. They perceive the vacuum, and they'll try to find ways to help you fill the vacuum, either through unsolicited advice or actively reaching out and trying to pull you into their project and world. And I'm realizing now that there are a lot of particularly retired men here in Japan with lots of time on their hands and projects on their hands, and they're lonely, and they're looking to fill that void with anyone that would do it now. So now that I realize that, I have to be on the guard because I don't want to be involved in it. I've only got 5 more good years of life left. I don't want to be, statistically speaking, I don't want to be involved in anybody else's projects in these next 5 years or beyond, other than the projects that I choose. Even though I do have a lot of free time on my hands, I have a lot of things I want to do. I have very worthwhile and I have things I want to do in my retirement. So I know that I was able to execute that Dear John message, give him the package of stuff that I promised to do. Off it went. Finish that. Now I have to train myself. I have to tune myself to be on the lookout for this. And this isn't just come to Japanese men. This comes with everybody, especially doing this YouTube thing. There are people out there that have things that they want to do. I get at least once a day, I get some sort of solicitation from someone wanting me to do something with them for something, and I have to learn to be robust in my refusal to do that, even to the extent of friendships. I do not have friends. I neither does my wife. We are not the type of people to have friends. We have each other, we have our daughter, we have our family. I'm not interested in making friends. I'm not interested in maintaining friendships. I'm not interested in getting together with people. I'll do it, begrudgingly once in a while. So I have to be more robust in that as well. I'm realizing now that I'm entered this stage of my life where I'm not beholden to anybody other than my daughter and my wife and my commitments to them and my extended family, that I have to be very protective of my time and my interests and not engage in the stuff that I don't want to do. I definitely don't want to be involved in other people's projects. I definitely don't want to be making friends, as strange as that sounds. I don't want to be spending time with people. I want to get up in the morning, I want to come out, do this. I want to go home, hang out with my wife, have breakfast, do work in the garden, work on my projects, write my books, make blogs, go hiking, etc. Don't want to be doing all that other stuff. So Yesterday was a really good day that I was able to successfully end a blossoming relationship before I got started, because I don't want that relationship. All right, and then the last one here is a contractor misunderstanding. I'm a project manager by trade, no more. I'm retired now, but I was a project manager. And one of the things that project managers do is we don't do anything in a project. We make sure that other people do the jobs that are expected of them, and that the main job of a really good project manager is to make sure that the work gets done on time, within scope, and within budget, right? So we deliver the contracted work, so that everybody's happy. The vendors are only required to do what they're required to do, and they get paid the right amount, and the customer gets what they expected, no more, no less, and we manage the differences. So for the most part, with the contract work that we're having done on our house, I take a back seat on that because I don't speak Japanese, and my wife's driving now. So that's a case where we have a project without a project manager, and that means we've got a vendor and we've got a customer, and we have unmanaged scope, definition of work, basically an unmanaged budget, definition of how we're going to spend the money, and nor do we even have a schedule. That's a recipe for disaster. And I didn't realize that until yesterday, when my wife and the contractor ran into a problem because of lack of clear human communication, simple misunderstanding that was easily resolved. Everybody felt bad, but it really saddled my wife with some hard feelings because she felt like she had dropped the ball. And that's kind of soiled part of her day. And I realized that, wow, all we need is a little bit of project management on this to do this. So I kind of stepped in, and I'm not going to PM the thing with the documents and all, but I'm going to try to facilitate the guidance of it as a project manager, insofar as making sure that we do identify what the scope is, we do know where the budget is, and we do the schedule. So I came home, my wife and I went for a long walk, and we talked about it, and I came home and I took her computer, because I don't have a computer anymore. I went up to my room and I sat there and I worked out the budget for the project. We had a tentative budget, but it was kind of fluctuating a little bit because of some various things, and I nailed it. I laid it in. I said, Himiko, this is how much you've got, because she's driving it. I said, really what it was is, this is how much you've got for the rest of the year, for the rest of 2025. For our 2020, because we had, going into 2025, we had a budget to buy a house, and we had a budget for the renovations, including DIY work. I said, Yumiko, here's the remaining budget that we have for this year. We can use this to pay the contractor to do stuff, and we can use it to do our own DIY stuff, or a combination, depending on how we do things. I said, now that we know what the limit is, let's work together to decide because we have the scope list of all the things, let's decide what we want the contractor to do, knock off the things that we think we can do ourselves, and then we'll go accordingly and see how much money is left over for us to work. And then I said, and then the nice part was, I said, the good part, Yumiko, is that this is enough money for us to get a beautiful bathroom and Senmenjo, the changing laundry room, a reworked bathroom, new toilet, and get a lot of the finish work done. We'll be left with a really nice house, well updated. And even if there's not a lot of DIY budget left for the rest of the year, we got our free time to hang out in the garden, work in the garden, and do DIY work with our normal budget, because our normal monthly living budget is more than ample enough for us to get by. So we can use that money for the DIY work, or to help our daughter, or whatever we want. And then when 2026 arrives, then we get a new budget for that year, and we can begin taking on new things apiece. So that was the thing with the contractor misunderstanding. So I've covered all three of those. Let me give myself a score. For the super balance, that's a scoreless. That's just an experience that happened. Ending a relationship, well, that's a 5-star. I did good on that. Yeah. It took me a couple of days to realize it, but what I'm really happy about is that now I have a precedent set forward about how I will handle this. When people reach out to me and want to invite me into their world, I don't want to be in your world. No, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to be very good, diplomatic about it. But there's not enough time for me to spend time in other people's worlds anymore. Okay, and the contractor misunderstanding, that was another 5-star too, because I recognized it for what it is, spotted it, and I was like, it was kind of an eye opener. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a project. There's no project manager. No wonder it's going sour. So good. It was a good day. So then I go backwards to the day before, and I give that day a score, and it was a 5-star day. I handled that day well yesterday. Good, good. That's what I want to see. I want to see a train of 5 stars as good as it gets. Train of 5-star days where I'm living my life and making the best use of every day in accordance with my values. Okay, next, let's go over the 8 objectives of my creed, which is called The Good Life, a nod to the Stoics, which can be found in my book, Going Alone, in the chapter titled The Good Life, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. Or you can buy the book, whichever you like, including you can buy it from my YouTube store if you want. Okay, 8 objectives are: number 1, to be always ready to die. 2, to make good and effective use of time. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions. 5, to perform good actions relative to my creed. 6, to recognize my true limits and true opportunities. 7, to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. And 8, to keep my balance. Okay, now as for today, the next 24 hours, I have only 2 things that I want to do today. 1, pay my accountant. My accountant, I use the same accountant every year. She's absolutely fantastic. Boy, I'll tell you, I just go on and on about her. I mean, she's really, really good at making sure that I pay just the amount of tax that I need to. And anyway, she's done with her work. She was done with it 2 weeks ago. But I was in the middle of all kinds of stuff, and then I ran into a problem. I couldn't get her the money because the mechanism that we usually use was a mechanism that I hadn't anticipated. I got everything ready before I moved to Japan. I got everything ready with 2-factor authentication and authenticator app and all that kind of stuff. And this one does not use authenticator app, but it does use 2-factor authentication. I had forgotten about that, so it wants to use the phone number that I had in America, which is no more. I thought I had caught everything. I had created a list of all of the financial institutions that I needed to update for connectivity moving to Japan, and I missed this one, so I couldn't use it. So then I needed to use something else to pay her, and I got that all squared away. The money's just sitting there. I just needed a confirmation from her. I'll go home and after breakfast I'll send her the money. That'll be done. Taxes for 2025, for 2024, the final full year of work paid for and done in the friggin' bag. You know, guys, I have such anger. You could almost see it rising right now. I have such anger about the way that I spent my life, the career that I lived, the 40 friggin' years that I slaved away, on the hamster wheel. I'm a very optimistic, half full kind of guy, but I'm very resentful of the way I spent my life, and paying the final tab. And I don't mind paying taxes. It's not about paying taxes. It's about how I live my life. That I spent I'm 60 years old, and I literally spent the best years of my life, doing stuff that I hate. I don't believe in forever. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in heaven. I believe I got about 5 more years of good life left before the diseases of old age will start to begin to creep in. And I spent all that time of this one life that I get doing that crap that I hate so much. Now, of course, I got good ends out of it. I supported my family and raised a daughter and showed her how to do the same damn thing. And I don't know a better way. I don't know any alternative. So, and I hate that fact, and it shows up. So then when I get to say that I just paid my friggin' taxes for the last year of my full friggin' damn career, it feels like a nail in my own damn coffin. Damn it. Sure, next year's taxes will be a lot easier because I'll be paying taxes on my retirement era life, which would be much simpler, but complicated by the fact that I have to report it in Japan as well. God, I'm just astonished by how deep the well is of my hatred about the way I spent my life, working. Ugh. Okay, let's go ahead and read. So what? Pay and clean my room. That's right. So I got to clean my room today. Let's read the comments before I'm done. Erica is growing. Hi, Kurt. I hope you have a great day. Thank you, Erica. You too. No name. You from? I'm from America. If you're talking to me. Act says, Kurt, on your recent video when you watered the plants, how many setups did you make up? You did one across the river, one's cut down in the river area. It must have taken you a half hour for that sequence. Four. I had 4 times up and down the ladder running around. It was a complicated one for sure. Thanks for noticing. I timer slow. Hi. Act. At least the wealthy guy didn't try to get you to join Amway or some other multi-level marketing scheme. Right. BT-chan. Hello, Kurt. Recent new subscriber here. Oh, hi. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. I appreciate that. And welcome to the chat. Blue Tanuki, longtime friend of the channel and on Discord. Good to see you. No doubt, I've run into MLM cults like Amway all over the world. There's Robert. Hi, Robert. Act. Oh, Robert saying hi to everybody. Blue Tanuki, I've wondered the same, talking to Act. I wonder the same thing. Those multi-angle camera shots must be time-consuming. Kurt, you have to build an Archimedes screw pump into the river. That would be people. That's funny that you say that, and I don't mean this sincerely. I just mean it but I do mean it sincerely. And you're right. It is time-consuming, but it's really fun to do. I was telling Yumiko this yesterday. I was telling her, Yumiko, you wouldn't believe how many comments I get from people telling me about I need to use more efficient mechanisms in the garden, and I keep telling her, I don't want to do that. These people keep telling me I need to make the garden work more efficiency. They're missing the point that how much I enjoy doing things manually, like lifting up those bamboo shoots with that big bar. I get like 1 or 2 comments a day from various videos saying you need a rototiller, or you need this, you need a chainsaw. I don't want any of that stuff. I want to be out quietly in the garden. I love the sound of the metal going through the soil and the creak of the roots as they strain and I crack them. I love the feel of my muscles getting stronger as I do that. Just like I enjoy going down the river, scooping the water up. When it comes to gardening, I'm not looking for efficiency. I'm looking for doing things the old-fashioned way with the strength of my body, the sweat of my brow, and having a good time. Now, I know that one thing I say in this one video won't hold, and people are going to continue to say, as long as I do gardening, get a rototiller or a chainsaw or a power drill or something, but to hell with that. And I'm not saying to hell with you, Blue Tanuki. I'm just trying to state that I like the way I'm doing things. Blue Tanuki says hi to Robert, not on my phone this time, so I can easily get your username out there. Oh, good. You can just call me Robert or BIY, whichever is easier. Hey, Robert, do you plan to take a Social Security at 62? I do. Yes, 62 next year, next summer. I'll start at 62, and Yumiko will start at 67. So, that 2-factor authentication can feel overbearing at times. Yeah. So what have you done differently in your past if you are so upset about you spent your life? I wouldn't have done it. So what you have done differently in your past if you are upset about? So are you asking what would I do differently? Nothing. I don't know any other way. I want my goal when I chose to get married and to become a father was to be a good provider and a good husband and father. This is the only way I knew how to do that, and it's the only way I know how to do it now. There's nothing else I could do, but I hate it. It's like it would be like a farmer who said that he hated farming, but he had to do it to support his family. I'm the same way, right? I'd do it again, but I hate it. So, and I wish there was a better way. I'm hoping that the coming generation can find a better way. And my trick now is to not soil my daughter's experience, because she's arriving today. She's starting her career next week, exactly 1 week. And she's coming down to spend a couple of days with us to celebrate the start of her new career. And I'm going to be very careful not to spoil her party with my negativity. On the point about not really making friends, where would you put that ex-colleague from your alt days in that? The one you ran into on one of your vlogs recently? Oh, the one you ran into on one of your vlogs recently. Ex-colleague from your alt days. Are you talking about Molly? Jim? Well, Jim is an established friend, so I don't want any new friends. I'm like I got enough, right? I don't need it. I mean, the house is full, right? So, so I guess that's how I would respond. Tobias says, hey, and believe in yourself. Hey, Tobias. BT Chan says, you don't need efficiency for the garden if you have as much time as you have. That's right. Kurt, your strength training does continue to do the best ROI of any exercise. Blue Tanuki, yep. I'm on Discord, but also Patreon. Oh, that's right, you are on Patreon too. Thank you so much as well for both. I really do appreciate that, Blue Tanuki. You bought me my coffee this morning. Thank you. Yeah, I was not really serious about the pump, although all community screws are still very manual and a recent tech. That is interesting. And if I had to do it, like for a livelihood, yeah, you bet, I'd do whatever I could. Instead of I was showing my wife how some of the farmers put the pipes farther upstream, so that the water level where they dip into the water and then down lower stream as the water comes out, they get a continuous flow. You can see that on the rivers here. I do that too, but I'm just a gentleman gardener. I don't have to work. I'm not doing it seriously. And thank you again, Blue Tanuki, for your support. BT-chan, on the ALTX colleague, I think he saw you while in his car, and he rolled down his window to speak with you. I don't remember who that was. Oh, okay, no. That's one of the teachers from the school. You're right, he is. He's an actual real Japanese teacher who I worked with. I was his ALT. He was my teacher. He's not a he's a colleague that probably of all of the Japanese people that I worked with at that school, he would be he would be a friend. Yeah. So again, I would say that those that I already have in my circle of friendship are still my friends. I still want to be friends with him. I may not want to spend very much time with them. I just don't want to spend time with people anymore. Just my wife and my daughter. But they're my friends. I just don't want any new friends. Kurt is a very wealthy relationship-wise. Well, I don't know. I'm not very friendly. I mean, I'm friendly, outgoing, but I'm not the kind of person that, I'm not going to invite anybody over for beers. But that is the best kind of wealth. B-Chan, not trying to put you on the spot or anything, but genuinely curious about how you approach those relationships. No answer is wrong, obviously, and I appreciate your time in answering. No, so very clearly, the people that are already in my life that I'm definitely not interested in having new people in my life in terms of friendship. Not interested in that. But the people who are already in my life will always be in my life. Although I'm not like I used to be. In my 30s, I would have house parties and bring people over and buy beers and make a fire and barbecue for people. None of that. I'm never going to do that stuff again. Going out with people and socializing, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to get together with people anymore. I hardly want to even interact with them online anymore. But there's still important people in my life. I just think I've reached the saturated limit of human interaction. I'm just not interested anymore, and so it's just a reality of how it is. I've had enough. Thanks, I've had enough. It's been great. You've been great, and it's nobody's fault. It's just the way I am now. Howdy, folks. Hi, Thunder Turtle. Okay. Do you miss foods from the USA, Mexican, etc.? Not yet. I've only been back in Japan 3 months, and I had my fill of that stuff, so not yet. So we'll see. Okay, well, everybody, I'm going to check out now, head home, and start my day. I've got to clean my room before my daughter arrives later, and then also I'm sending money to the accountant to get that done. Are there any Americans there? Are there many Americans there in America? Well, if I read that sentence right, I'd say yes. Okay, I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe, everybody. Take care.